Hey guys, welcome back to the show. So we are getting ready to start cutting off the spring hats, cut out the cross member, all that stuff. Get the frame ready for the Crown Vic front end. So I'll walk you guys through it and show you exactly how it's done. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our angle grinder and we're going to put a slit in these on these rivets, this one over here as well. We're going to slit those down, and then we're going to take the air chisel and we're going to try and knock them through. That'll help when we go to cut the rest of the stuff off. You know, any tack welds, we can hit those. We'll pull the bolts out of here. Now I did notice that, I'm not sure if this is factory or if somebody did this afterwards, because these are bolted in to the cross member, but then they are welded here as well. So we'll take the bolts out and then have to go ahead and cut all this out as well. Okay, one thing I almost forgot to do before I started cutting was I need to actually brace the frame. As you can see here, I'm putting this brace here. I'm going to weld this in because that will hold the frame rails where they need to be after I cut the cross member out and the frame hats, or the spring hats. And so want to put this in first, just weld it in. Now some people will put their bumper back on and bolt that in place, or bolt a piece of metal where the bumper went. I feel better about welding it, that way I know it's not going to move, and I'll cut it off after I get done with everything. Okay, I got one side off. Really, it was a way more of a bear than I thought it was going to be. My neighbor was kind enough to lend me his plasma cutter, but unfortunately it was not powerful enough to cut through most of this stuff, so I had to use the angle grinder and use the Sawzall, the air chisel, everything, and man, it really fought me. So, but got that side off, and I'm going to move to the other side now. I ended up just cutting the heads of the rivets off and grinding them flush, and then using the air chisel to just drive them through. You have to kind of do it in steps. You got to cut the head off, chisel it out, and once you get the bracket off, on part of it there's a second bracket. You got to cut that one off, and then once you get that off, then you got to grind down these again. So it's just kind of a pain, but we'll keep going, and hopefully get this side done tonight and start getting the cross member out. You can see on the cross member, I mean, the air chisel just hammered away at it. I couldn't get that rivet out, so I'm gonna have to cut that metal, grind it down smooth, and then try and punch it out the other way. But let me show you what I'm talking about with the rivets. Okay, so once you cut the bracket off, you can see it leaves a nub right here, and there's one there. You got to grind those flat again and then try and drive them through, because right now they'll just mushroom out and they'll fight you the whole way. So I will get done with that. I may cut the cross member out in sections, that way I'm not fighting the whole mass of it. Just take a Sawzall, cut the middle section out of it, and then go from there. So we'll see, but it's coming, slowly but surely. Okay, as you can see, I got the main body of the cross member cut out. I still have to get that inner part out. Same on this side. And this side this was where the steering box was connected to, so I got to cut all that out. And I'll get all this cleaned up. Still got to get all these rivets out, because I'm going to use those for the alignment for the Crown Vic front end. But yeah, it's coming along pretty good so far. Not gonna lie, this was not easy to do. It took a long time. Went through a lot of cutting wheels, Sawzall blades. I finally ran out of cutting wheels, so I actually did use the plasma cutter for a bit, but you know, like I said, it wasn't really powerful, so it took a long time, and you know, but it got the job done. So now we're going to get to cleaning the rest of this up, and then once I have it all cleaned up, ready to go, I'll show you guys exactly how to measure out how to attach the Crown Vic front end, and we'll go from there. Okay, we got all this cut out, cleaned up. You can see all the dowel pin holes, or I mean the rivet holes, sorry. And same on this side, got this all cleaned up. Ground down all the welds inside. You can see it was welded on both sides of those arms, so it's just a lot of cleanup you got to do. But now it's pretty much ready. I'm gonna do a little bit more cleaning up on it, just scraping all the stuff off, getting it wire brushed, and then I will start marking my holes and show you guys exactly where and how to mark those, and we'll get the front end set up to get placed in there. Awesome. So here is our Crown Vic front end. Okay. Now, what we're going to do to mark the installation for this, as you can see, it's got these lineup pins. There's one there, and there's one there. Okay, let me get close to it so you can see it. All right. So that is actually, we are going to drill a hole in the bottom of the frame so that sets up against there and keeps it in place for us to put our plates in, weld it in, all that stuff. Weld the plates in, that is. So those pins are exactly 31.5 inches apart. Okay. Now up here on the frame, as you can see, the passenger side of the frame, got a rod stuck through the holes. Now, as you can see, this hole is almost between the welded in marks of the cross member, okay, where I ground down. But what we're going to do is, to get the center line, we're going to come off the back edge of this hole. So right about there, we're going to come off the back edge of that hole and measure back 3/8 of an inch, okay? And we're going to do that on both sides. This hole is the same way. Going to come off the back edge of this right here, 3/8 of an inch, okay? So after that, we know, I just checked the measurements. So from this edge of the frame to this edge is 29 inches. So we've got to get to 31.5. So we need, gosh, I got to sit down and write it down. I can't do it in my head right this second. But so we have to have equal distance. So we know it's 3/8 back from those holes, and then we will make them equal distance, 31.5 on here. And that will give us our alignment. We can get the thing mocked up in there. And once we have that done, and I've got to pick up some wheels tomorrow. Once I pick up some wheels for that rear end, front end, I will get the holes drilled, get it mocked up, set it down, and then I will take and put the front end back on the front clip back on the truck and just check and make sure that it looks right. You know, that there wasn't something weird the day this thing came out of the factory. But that should be what the calculations are. So that's what we're banking on. And but we're going to just test it, make sure, and we'll go from there. All right.